So we finally got Wildcat. So that's 2 down and 2 to go. Hi guys, my name is Maria Park and this is Approach to Nerd. And in this episode, we are reviewing Stargirl episode 4 entitled Wildcat. This was a good episode. Actually, all of them have been. I just kind of feel like they've just been progressively getting better as the weeks have gone by since it's premiered. I was very happy with this episode. I actually felt really bad for Yolanda because of her parents or her family, basically. I basically think they're trash, but I'll get into that in a second. So this pretty much continues after Courtney has been to the Justice Society of America and decided to steal all of the gear to recruit her own version of the team. So like her Justice Society Junior. She picked Yolanda to be Wildcat after seeing her once again being bullied in the hall by Cindy Berman. Courtney, of course, started standing up for her, and Cindy kind of looks at her like, you're next, basically. If you don't know anything about the comics, Cindy Berman, and I think I've mentioned this before, is the Dragon King's daughter, and he is grooming her to be Shiv, and Shiv is one of Stargirl's biggest competition and villains in her comic series in Stars and Stripes, at least during her high school years. So Cindy Berman is a bad person and she's very, very dirty. But yeah, so Courtney stands up for Yolanda and she tries to bond with her. Yolanda is not trusting her. And we actually learn why in this episode. And that's because she was dating Henry King Jr. and he asked her to send a sexy photo, to him. So, they're dating. That's her boyfriend. So she figures, why not? I mean, it's not like he's going to give it to anybody. Only somehow it happens. Now, it's very weird because they don't just come out and say that he gave the picture or shared the picture of her topless that she texted him to everyone in the school. We do see that Cindy was the one that sent that because she was she was the opposition for the student body president against Yolanda. And I guess Yolanda either won or was winning. But during Yolanda's speech, Cindy texts the picture and basically destroys Yolanda's life. But I don't understand how Cindy got the picture. We saw a scene in the hallway where she walks by Henry and, he's looking at it on his phone with two of his guy friends, which is still really messed up. But he snatches the phone away from her. And I don't know what happened from that point to her sending the picture because somehow Cindy had the picture and I don't really say how she got it. So Yolanda's still under the impression that Henry was the one that shared it and it was actually Cindy. But again, I don't know how Cindy got it. Henry could have sent it to her. I don't know. It's not really clear. But what it actually does is it makes Yolanda's parents and grandmother basically treat her like garbage. She's not allowed to do anything. She goes to school, she comes home, she has to go straight in her room. She can't even stay downstairs with the rest of her family. Like they literally push her upstairs and they don't even check on her. And the reason I know this is because later on where, basically Courtney's like, hey, do you want to be Wildcat? And she, goes out the window basically in the Wildcat suit with Courtney and they do their superhero training, which is hilarious. When she comes home, like later in the episode, the father was like, were you outside? And I'm like, that's how I know that not one person in that, in her whole entire house gave a crap, except for her little brother seems to. Her little brother gets mad at the way the parents are treating her because when she was very popular and was running for student body president and all of that, her parents were like so supportive and so proud. But then when the picture got out, they are worse to her than the students at school are. They treat her like she has leprosy and it is disgusting. She has horrible, horrible, horrible parents. It looked like the grandmother did want to say something, but she doesn't. So I don't know. I can't really give her a pass. But right now, her little brother stands to be the only person worth anything in that house. So yeah, like the whole scene with Yolanda becoming Wildcat is funny. Her interaction with Courtney and the cosmic staff are funny. Them going online, I think they went to like Google or Wikipedia to learn how to be Wildcat was funny because I guess Ted Grant has like entries everywhere at this point. I don't know. I really don't know. Like in this universe, like when Courtney said, "Oh, this is Wildcat," she's talking about the superheroes, and she's like, "I'm Stargirl, Starman's daughter," and Yolanda's like, "What?" So it's like it almost seems like the Justice Society of America is not common knowledge, but yet they have Google and Wikipedia entries. So I don't know, like how do they get this information? But it's cute, but it just makes you question a lot. But anyway, so Yolanda puts on the suit for the first time, and she's like, "Oh, it smells like old gym class." And then it starts morphing to her body, which is very cool. And it becomes like this black purplish kind of outfit. It was really, really cool. I liked how believable it was that Wildcat was Wildcat. Like she had to learn that she could climb up a wall in her retractable claws and how to do everything. And she's definitely a lot more like strategic and thought out than Courtney. Courtney's just like, "Oh, I'm going to go into the hospital and switch this electric off in the whole hospital, even though people are on life support, essentially probably killing everybody here." It's like, how long you been doing this, Courtney? A week. Like, it's hilarious. But yeah, so she was really cool as Wildcat. Some other things that happened in the episode, which I thought were interesting. So Denise, Wizard's widow now, and of course, the mother of Joey, who unfortunately it still hurts me to talk about. Poor sweet Joey. She's basically leaving town, and she talks to Pat, and she's basically giving him suspicions, like, "I don't think this was an accident. My husband never had a heart attack in his life, blah, blah, blah." And she's basically leaving town in her station wagon. Pat tries to stop her. At the end of the episode, we see that her station wagon is abandoned and was actually in the junkyard when Pat was going to look for more parts for Stripe. It was in the junkyard. Like, he recognized it because not only is it her station wagon, she had the last box of her son's magician hats and tricks in the car, and the hat was still in there. So I don't know if she's dead or somebody took her. So I don't know what's happening to Denise, which is interesting. We also saw Dragon King, and he had his mask on, and he had like the scales, and it's just, it's so weird, so weird. But yeah, they were talking about working on, a project and how he's grooming his daughter, which of course is Cindy Berman, which I know is to be Shiv, which is creepy. And so I know that they are concocting something, which probably is what they were doing in the original comic run, Stargirl and Stripe, more than likely. But if it doesn't go the same route as the comic, then it could be something entirely different, and I'd be down for that too, because I like when they take things and put a spin on it, as long as it's not stupid like Crisis on Infinite Earth. But yeah, so we got to see Dragon King. We learned that Shade betrayed them. I don't know how. I don't know why. I don't know how Shade's going to be basically incorporated back in, but more than likely will, because then why name drop Shade if you're not going to see Shade? So I think Shade will be coming. I love that Mike mentioned Jakeem Thunder, only because at the beginning of the episode, Courtney's trying to use the Thunderbolt, it's just playing with the pen. And then she gives up and she puts it in like a cup holder with her other pens, not knowing the Thunderbolt's in there. But it would have been interesting had Jakeem Thunder come over, considering he would have been able to use, the Thunderbolt, basically. But I don't know. I mean, I feel like they name dropped Jakeem for a reason. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to think that, we're just going to have Stargirl, Wildcat, Our Man, and Dr. Midnight only as the heroes, of course, with Pat and Stripe. That we're actually going to incorporate more once the team is established, because we're really, really early on in the season. So it would be nice to have Jakeem Thunder come in, and like Dr. Fate's helmet is still sitting at Justice Society of America, and I'm like, why would you not use that? Though in many variations, the person that does wield that hat goes insane, so maybe they don't want to have I don't know. But there's that. And another thing that kind of surprised me was, so at not the end, but they decide to go to the hospital, Wildcat and Stargirl, because they want to see who's been visiting Brainwave, so they can find more members, the Injustice Society. Well, while they're there, two things happen. Number one, Yolanda sees Henry, who she blames for her life falling apart, basically, and she's like going to attack him because he's visiting his dad, obviously. But he's so heartbroken over his father being in a coma, and depressed that she can't do it. Meaning she probably still has a thing for him a little bit, even though now Cindy is his girlfriend, which is that's all very weird. But their original purpose for doing this, for going there, is to just check that log. They wanted to see who else was there, and only Henry, King Jr.'s name was in the log. But while they were there investigating, their principal comes in with a violin or fiddle and starts fiddling. So at first I was thinking, oh, it's the fiddler. But then I don't think it's the fiddler, because the fiddler was a guy, and I'm pretty sure in the comic books, her son Isaac is actually, I think the fiddler is named Isaac in the comics now. So he could be either the son of the original fiddler, or he could be the future fiddler. But what got me thinking that she might be Virtuosa is because of how, basically, if you look at the storyline in DC Comics, Virtuosa is also a very powerful fiddler and uses, music to persuade people and things like that. And she's from the secret society of supervillains. And that would make sense that, somebody who is a villain would be working in league with, the Injustice Society. And that's a good way to bring somebody else in without having the original fiddler, since a lot of them, since it's been 5 years since the Injustice Society killed the JSA members. So I don't know. I just feel like that would have been really cool. It'd be cool if Virtuosa is in this reality or this Earth, the mother of the future fiddler. Instead of it being passed from father to son, it's from mother to son. I just thought that was really cool. So I would be down for her being Virtuosa. I don't know if she is or not, but I would love it if she was. But yeah, I mean, like I said, this episode was very, very good. We didn't get to see Barbara, I don't think at all. I don't think we did. No, it was more Wildcat focused. The only other person that I remember seeing is Beth, and that's only because she came to bring her mother food at the hospital, and her mother was like, stop, get a life, basically. And I'm like, oh, I feel so bad for her, because she basically thinks her parents are her best friends, and she's so smart, she's so sweet, and she's so socially awkward, and her mother's basically making her get a life, which is good and bad. You shouldn't force somebody when they're not ready, especially when they haven't had a lot of luck making friends at school. So I felt bad on in that regard. But as she was leaving, she heard Wildcat and Stargirl talking and using. I want to say that either Yolanda said Courtney or Courtney said Yolanda. I have to go back and look. But they name dropped each other technically, and Beth heard it. So now Beth knows who they are. And so that's pretty much what's going to lead into next week's episode, where we have Dr. Midnight and we have Our Man, which I'm extremely excited about. So this show is doing really well. I mean, outside of like what I normally expect in Arrowverse shows, I mean, the flow of this is really good. I love the Easter eggs. I love the name drops of potential heroes and villains. I like where the story's going. I have a theory on what's going to happen, but I'm going to wait until next week to see if I'm right before I do a video on that. But yeah, outside of that, very, very enjoyable. And I just really hope somebody rescues Yolanda from her crazy parents, because honestly, that was the one thing from this episode. It was very, very cool. Lots of amazing things happened, but that was the one thing that kind of that put me off a little bit from this episode, was just seeing how nasty Yolanda's parents are. They're nasty. The mother's very, very weak. The father's just an ass. So I felt so bad, and I'm so glad that Yolanda decided to be Wildcat, because she wanted to try and get her life back. She did this really cool speech with her parents, saying, I'm sorry, but I need to move forward. I need your help. And they're like, no, you disgraced our family. Get your butt upstairs. And I'm just like, wow, that that is how kids get depressed. That is how kids get suicidal, is when your own family starts bullying you outside of the bullying you're getting. And honestly, I don't understand how whoever shared her photo at school to everybody in the school did not get in trouble for cyberbullying, because that's also illegal. So yeah, I had a lot of issues with that part of the storyline. But yeah, Yolanda's family is not good. But that's neither here nor there, I guess, because she's Wildcat now, and she's got something really cool going for her that her parents don't have in their small little world. But that is what I think. So please let me know what you guys think about this episode. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Do you have theories on who some of the villains and heroes are going to be coming up, starting with episode 5 going forward? Please leave me a comment below and let me know. And if you would like to sign up for jury duty, hit the subscribe button. If you'd like to know who's next on the nerd ballot, hit the notification bell. Until next time, I can't wait for you to approach the nerd. Bye, guys.
Thank you for watching my video. I really appreciate it, but hey, the party doesn't have to stop now. Click on one of these videos and keep it going.